Hi, and welcome to the Seated Podcast with Furniture Row. I'm Jessa, creative director and design extraordinaire.
And I'm Barb, interior designer and buyer.
Welcome back to our cozy little space. Today we're talking about minimalism, which you might not be able to tell by looking at our set because, you know, we
like stuff.
We do like stuff. We're
maximalist.
We're not as minimalist, but we're gonna talk about.
We're going to try to talk about minimalism.
I think we're qualified to talk about minimalism. We understand minimalism. We're going to maybe walk you through the positives along with the negatives, because right now it's gotten a lot of negative press, minimalism, and we want you to know the true minimalism and how it can benefit your life, but also what a lot of people out there are saying about it, and just having a well-rounded conversation about this controversial topic.
Very controversial.
We get into a lot of controversy here.
Yeah. Over design.
Yeah, we do. We do.
This might be our most controversial
I think so.
segment.
Yeah. For example, I wanted to start off by talking about the news and where minimalism has come into the news most at the time that this is recorded. Cracker Barrel is going through its whole rebrand journey. And
have you ever eaten there?
No. I haven't. So I was just taken aback by the whole wave of conversation, but I totally understand why people would be upset at their logo rebrand, because to me, it's devoid of character. I get that it's clean design-wise. It looks nice. It looks beautiful. But what it does is it really squarely, neatly fits into the modern design aesthetic, and it doesn't say anything about the brand of Cracker Barrel. And the people that love Cracker Barrel do not care about modern design or graphic design even.
Well, the logo definitely is very different than before. It's not my favorite rebrand for the logo. Now, the inside, I don't mind that at all. I think that looks quite nice. It's light and bright and airy. You feel like you're in a barn or a farmhouse. The inside, I think, looks pretty nice. From
a design perspective, I agree with you.
Yeah.
From a nostalgic perspective, I like the old one. And I think you have to remember who you are as a company when you're Cracker Barrel.
You got to paint the barn.
You got to paint the barn.
You know, the barn needs updated occasionally.
People do not want bright and airy, though, that are a Cracker Barrel customer. They don't want modern, Joanna Gaines Magnolia Home style furniture. They want old country living, I think.
Okay, so I have a different take on it, because I look at the furniture in the new room there, and it looks very country, cottagey looking. Yeah. Now, the white, is very Joanna Gaines, I guess you could say.
Right.
Farmhouse. But it doesn't bother me. I think it looks really nice. Now, the old way looks nice too. I think there could have been a way to infuse a little bit of both. I don't think everything had to go super bright and airy. They could have had pockets that were a little bit darker and warmer. The original Cracker Barrel is quite homey and warm. I agree with you there.
People want to be in a warmy home,
a
warm, cozy home space, though. And
I will say they took out all of the oak dining.
Yeah.
And I mean, even though I do like the new dining sets, they look great. I do love the oak. Well, it's just very nostalgic for sure.
It's nostalgic, and it's a good design element now. Like, people are coming back to oak because
it's substantial.
It's
beautiful.
It is.
Buy more oak.
It's actual wood furniture in a time where there's so much manufactured wood furniture that having an actual oak piece conveys quality. And so I think that's what people
Wonder
like
what
about
they
it
did
right
with
now.
all the oak.
I don't know.
Do you think they like donated it?
Shunned it away
Or
to a
threw it in
faraway
the trash?
land.
I hope if
I
they're
think
not
they
going to
gave
have
it. I think it's all at Goodwill.
Okay. We need a trip to Goodwill.
Yeah.
Didn't they redo the one here in Colorado?
I don't know. I haven't been
We
there.
should check that
I don't know
out.
if it was one. I think it was a slow rollout. But the other thing that strikes me about the clean, airy interior that has less personality is I think that they're trying to now market more toward a younger generation, like millennials, for example. And I, as a millennial, am a little confused as to why companies think that we all want modern, clean aesthetics. You know, like I think between the millennial gray and this Cracker Barrel rebrand, it's like, why do you think all millennials want things to be sanitized? I don't know. I don't know why they think that. And not everything has to be bright and airy, because right now we're having a huge design moment of moodiness, no matter the time of year. And people are embracing moodiness because it brings warmth into a space.
It does, but I think you could have warmth and bright and light and airy too. It just comes down to what you like.
It's about balance.
It is about balance. It will be interesting to see what happens with Cracker Barrel. I hope that they go back to their old logo. Because that really is
that's the
nice.
Update is they apologized
they
and they said that they made a mistake and they went back to their old logo. But the inside is still updated.
Okay.
But, you know, I just think it's a lesson that erasing nostalgia and going to what's safe and fitting squarely into a modern design aesthetic can kill your warmth and everything that people love about you. And whether you're a person or a company or you're trying to design your space, you always have to remember what's true to you.
True. I agree. I think the other thing, if I'm not mistaken, you tell me, but I read this somewhere, that they changed some of their core values too. They went from, I don't think they were serving alcohol before. And then didn't they add alcohol to the menu?
Yeah.
So some of the things they weren't doing, they changed to doing now.
So it's not all paring down. There's some addition.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Who knows?
Who knows?
Good luck, Cracker Barrel.
But so what even constitutes minimalism? You know, let's just figure that out. What would you define minimalism as a designer, Barb?
I would say it's very intentional design. It's simplicity. It's, soft shapes, neutral color palettes, infusing a little bit of color, but very intentional. It's definitely less is more theory, and that you don't need all of the stuff around you. So it's very simple, clean, intentional design.
Yeah,
what do you think it is?
Well, I think a lot of people think of minimalism as austere and sterile, you know, but
It can be. If that's your style.
But like in history, minimalism, it can be traced back to Mediterranean architecture and way back when, you know.
Well, I think we have to go there. We got to check this out.
Yeah, we got to go. So for example, Santorini, that could be considered a minimalist design, because buildings, it was from a time where buildings were designed with harmony with the surrounding environment, using local materials and avoiding unnecessary decoration or complexity, which if you think of Santorini or Mykonos, those Greek buildings really fit all of those definitions. They really fit into their surrounding environment. They're using that local stone material. Their
occasional soft shapes.
A lot of the buildings focused on white and simplistic buildings, which these definitely do.
It kind of is just a comfort and an ease and just relaxation.
Everything flows. But then again, you know, like the blue roofs, there's like an intentional pop of color that fits in with the natural surroundings of the ocean. So it's like, it's a design style that enhances the natural landscape around it rather than, you know, it doesn't look.
It's not competing with it.
It's not competing with
sure.
it. Thank
it's
you.
Very intentional.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree. Yeah. So back in the day, architecture was designed to be useful and comfortable, which automatically made it beautiful and minimal. And so because it was all about like what was going to be most useful and necessary. Like buildings were built for the climate that they're in and to, you know, a lot of these Greek cities, for example, are built on hills. So the streets and the buildings are built accordingly to fit that space. And now I think that buildings, they're like these architectural masterpieces, but there's like a lot of unintentional thought being put into the design of them. And so then the modernist aesthetic ends up looking a little bit more cold and like it's lacking soul, when a true minimalist design should be a little bit more timeless and simplistic and beautiful.
And it doesn't have to be sterile.
It doesn't have to
be sterile. It doesn't have to look sterile.
No.
Although some people do like that type of minimalist approach, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But you can definitely have a warmth to a minimalist design in your own home.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's just a lot of people that are upset about minimalism. And there's, I mean, between the Cracker Barrel conversation and just people being frustrated by, you know, these big townhouses going into neighborhoods that had a lot of historic character. I mean, that's happening a lot in the neighborhoods of Denver. There's all these 1920s brick homes, and they all have a lot of beautiful character. And then a lot of townhouses are going in. Yeah, they scrape them and they put in this modern minimalist townhouse. And I think it would be fine if it were that here and there. But when it's like all new builds have like this modern minimalist aesthetic, it's like not intentional about the neighborhood it's being put in. It's not intentional about.
Well, and they all start looking the same, no matter if you're in one part of Denver or out towards the west, you know, they all look the same.
So I don't really like that either, because although like in the interior you could make comfortable, or maybe the newness of it inside is comfortable or sleek, you know, there are probably benefits, but it's not built with like a honor to the surrounding at all.
Yeah,
and so that's where I think people are getting upset. Like on Reddit, I have a story from Reddit.
Read your story. I want to hear this.
Yeah. So this person says, minimalism in interior design is the absolute worst. That's the title. So we already know their thoughts, but they say that it has zero personality. It's sterile, it's boring, it's cold, and it's faux erudite. So like it's fake expensive. It looks expensive, the minimalistic look. It genuinely feels like the opposite of what I'd expect any space to look like save laboratory or evil corporate lair. I used to work as a chandelier and light fixture cleaner for a small company of 2, and rich people with gigantic mega mansions were obsessed with this style. It was genuinely like a disease that spread from mansion to mansion. I can't fathom why somebody would want to strip all the personality out of their home and turn it into a cold gray-white corporate render where all of their chairs look like uncomfortable to sit in Apple products, and all of their art looks like it was generated by a robot. And for what? Because it's fancy. Where's the color, the vibrancy, the things, the coziness of your living room? It's like a soulless style for an out-of-touch group of terminally insecure rich trend seekers who are afraid to be authentic and artistically messy, copied by the poor and middle class in an attempt to feel affluent. So.
That is quite the opinion, which, you know, that's fine. Definitely have an opinion, but there's a lot of, you know, people with means that have beautiful homes that are very simple and minimalist that aren't as drastic.
Right. So it sounds like
there.
This person has a very good vocabulary and is very good at the English language. And they have been in a lot of very sterile homes. And I will say, when we tour houses for photo shoots, a lot of those new builds are very sterile and like just...
Well, I think what happens, like, especially for the ones that we're touring, they've come in and they've just neutralized everything.
Yeah.
White walls, beige walls. It's just all very, very simple. They've taken all the personality out of the homes with the accessories, or they'll have very minimal accessories. But I think it's because they're trying to appeal to a little bit of everyone. And so if, they left everyone's pictures up and their, photographs, their family photographs and their books and, all of their things, it would feel very much like, oh, I'm walking into someone else's house versus trying to visualize, oh, what could this home mean to me?
Yeah.
Or be for me, is this a home for me? So, or for you.
Right.
So I think that's why a lot of the homes, when they stage them, they just simplify everything down.
Yeah.
And usually paint a lot of white.
But from like a builder perspective too, like there's always the phrase, they don't build them like this anymore, when you're walking through an older house, because all the builders now, there's no like personality, not all, but like a lot of the builders now, they lack personality in the finishes of the home, and
they lack the funds too, probably, because it costs more to, add crown molding and all of the little details that make the home feel more quality. And, even their solid surface countertops are not, the most expensive, nicest. It's just serving a purpose. It gets, you through. And so if they spent a little more, it might feel more quality.
I think so too. And I think the perception is that they are, they don't lack the funds. They're trying to get a larger margin.
That's true too.
And so that's true where people are frustrated, because it's like, invest in the community you're building in. Don't just like make money off of us.
That's true. I shouldn't have said they lack the funds, but
well, who knows? You are, you're giving them the benefit of the doubt. We don't know what these companies are doing, but it's just like the amount of houses that are going in that look the same. I get why this guy is frustrated.
Well, and it's that, I'll go back to that metal railing that you see.
It is everywhere.
Outside and inside.
Yes, the indoor metal railing.
It's like, did we get a deal on this? Because that's what we're putting everywhere. We're going to put it outside. We're going to put it inside. We're going to put it everywhere.
It's this black railing
I just do not
see
like
in all the houses we tour. Like, it's really hard to get away from. And it's just like this lined railing, like 4 to 6 tiers of just black metal bars as the staircase.
It's not good.
Rail.
It's not good.
And it's like, it would be fine again if it were like, this is my design style and I lean toward industrial minimalism or whatever it is. But to just like slap it at any house, like, this worked here and it was cheap, so let's put it here too. And it's like, well, this is a $4 million house, like, why are you just like unintentionally slapping in the same design fixtures as every other house? Like, I feel like every house should be.
I think it's just cheap.
I think it's cheap and it's lazy.
Exactly. And it does cost more to come in and do, a wood railing that has a continuous line on it versus a post with a corbel or, whatever on top. It costs more to do a nice handrail on your stairs.
Well, and then also I think people would need to customize that to their own taste as well. But I just think that builder grade needs, especially at that price, just needs to like go the extra mile.
Yeah, we can help them.
More. Yeah, I don't know that they want help.
I think they do need some help.
See, you're the
Call
optimist
us.
here.
Call us. 1-800-designer.
Yeah. And then, 1-800-designer. That's
I don't
us.
know that may be a number or not.
You might end up calling like Jim Bob from
exactly.
Texas. We don't know. We don't know who has that number, but we're here to help is what we're saying.
Yes.
And then I think beyond just the neighborhoods, people are upset about other cultural
people
examples.
Are just upset.
The people are upset right now.
They need to be out in nature.
They do.
Just have a little bit more.
Well, and minimalism can be
time.
done in a way that brings nature in and really glorifies nature. But then there's other houses like the Kim Kardashian and Kanye West house redesign that really got people afraid as far as like, is this what high-end design is now? Just like nothingness. So if you're watching, we're looking at the before and afters of their house. The befores are at the top of the screen and the afters are at the bottom. And it's a little terrifyingly minimalist.
It's very minimalist, but that hallway, the one on the bottom, I guess the top one is before, which I like both of them.
Yeah.
But the one on the bottom, I mean, it's so, to me, I'm like, oh, that's so nice and calm. I might add a piece of art here and there, but I don't mind it
I think it's an art piece in itself, that whole space, and it's meant to calm you when you're in that space.
It's very zen.
Their entire house looked like that hallway. I mean, their entire house is very minimal, but it doesn't look like that hallway. But I think that hallway is actually beautiful. Like if that were in a hotel, people would want to visit the hotel and take a photo of it because
I don't mind it at all.
The minimalism is a design statement in itself.
The living room, maybe add some throw pillows, maybe a blanket.
The living room doesn't look comfortable, but the hallway doesn't need to be comfortable. The living room is where I just think it's boring because all the walls are white and like they could at least be a stone or the white stone. I don't know. They could just be something else.
I think you could still be minimal and add a few extra layering pieces to that living room. It doesn't bother me as much, but I would want a couple more things in there personally.
Sure. Like I like the first living room a little bit better.
Yeah, but even that one, let's take that one for example. A lot of people love this style. I love this style. You could easily remove some of the objects in that room, not even the furniture, but like some of the plants or some of the accessories. And it would be more minimalist.
Yeah. If that's
so
what they
it doesn't
wanted.
have to be super modern to be a little bit more minimalist. We can all be a little bit more minimalist in our own home. You could start with a countertop.
You could.
Like in your kitchen or, a dresser in a bedroom and just start removing some of the unnecessary pieces or just remove everything and only put back exactly what you need.
Exactly.
So like on a nightstand, I looked at mine the other day and I'm like, I might have a little bit too much stuff on there, like my little jewelry holder and, a little drink holder and things like that. So I took everything off, cleaned it, and just put back the things that I actually 100% needed. And that was my lamp.
Yeah.
And then a little coaster for my drink.
Well, you know what? I know you're really busy right now, and I wonder if a lot of minimalist and decluttering in people's homes comes from them just being in a chaotic time and living too much of a chaotic life and needing to just simplify their space. So at least somewhere there's a breath of fresh air because interior design is one of the places where you do have the control to make your space perfect to the way that you want it. And it can reflect what you need at that time. And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
And so, knowing Kim and Kanye, they probably live a very chaotic life.
Oh, yes.
And so when they designed this house, they were like, we need nothingness.
Calm. Yes.
Calm.
So that works for them. And I don't know, they don't both live in this house now, do they? Or
I don't think so.
Okay.
Things are confusing there now with their relation.
Okay.
But weren't they just back together? They got divorced and then I thought they got back together.
Yeah, very, very divorced now because he's having a bit of a
Okay.
Oh, bless.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, it sounds like they're not together in this house.
I like
currently.
your comment though about how it depends on where you are in your life. And like, if you're super busy, it is nice to come home to just super relaxed. I feel that way. If you've ever gotten into a Tesla and there's nothing in it except like the steering wheel and the screen.
Yeah.
It does give you a sense of calm when you sit in one of those.
The simplicity of the space. Yeah.
Yeah. I know for me, just clearing off some areas in my own home did help. Because it does get really busy.
When I get stressed, I find that cleaning and decluttering is very therapeutic for me too, because I think it's physically getting rid of the clutter that's in your mind. Like it's a physical representation of taking away clutter. So and this is an example of the same Kanye dining room, or I honestly don't know what room that is, but it has a table. And I think it is maybe a dining room. And then on the right, their kitchen. And
see, I love that kitchen. I would love to have that.
It is a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
And they brought in the pampas grass. Yeah, I mean, it does definitely comment on the surrounding nature.
Yeah, it does.
There's not a whole lot
and
there,
I love the big window. That's another thing too, is natural light and windows in minimalist design. It's playing on light coming through these windows and just the space, how it illuminates the space.
It's accentuating nature.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, I think, what a really good example of warm minimalism could be, is something that like the space itself doesn't say much, so that the nature can really speak most. And I see that a lot in like forested designs or like A-frame designs when I look at architecture online. The big floor to ceiling windows.
So do you like their kitchen?
I think I would like it for a short amount of time, like if I needed a retreat, potentially, and to meditate. If I needed a full-on mind clear. But I think living with that every day would be a little tough for me. I think I would need to bring in more, potentially.
So one thing I'm noticing, like with their cabinets compared to the cabinets above, and that was the same space before, right?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild that they took out the vaulted ceiling.
Yeah. And there's the vaulted ceilings in the before, and then after it's like a low ceiling. So that's like,
interesting.
It is interesting. But the designer that designed these spaces isn't known as like a austere minimalist designer. He, I think, has designed some more ornate spaces. So this was very intentional.
Can do just about anything. But like what I was going to comment on the cabinets, like the cabinet fronts from the top, that top picture to the bottom one, is it's so sleek. Like there's not anything on the fronts of those cabinets.
Yeah, as far as hardware.
Well, and it's just a simple, clean, flat front and it's a seamless design, where the one above it is,
it's like a light blue,
a lot of molding. The blue one. And then the little round handles, and then the other types of handles. So, if you're thinking about a furniture piece in your own home, or if you want to change your cabinets in your kitchen, if you want to go more minimalist, think about what the fronts of those look like. Yeah. So you could just do a simple flat fronted cabinet. Right. In your bedroom, dining room, and it would give off that same appearance of being more minimalist.
Right. So I think, as we talk about this, we're getting a more full understanding of the benefit of minimalism. And we've kind of touched on some of the things that are good about it already, but I want to reiterate, that I think it is a habit of thoughtfulness, like you said.
Yeah. It's intentional design, and it's, quality over quantity. It's just using pieces that they have a purpose.
Right. Which I think can be good for people. Yeah. There's some theories that say a mess can be healthy. And then there's others that say that, you know, a clean space can be healthy. And really what it comes down to is like, how do you function best? Like if you need your space to be like, have a little bit of clutter to feel safe and homey, then that's your style. But if you feel like you need a retreat and you feel like there's just clutter all the time that you're just struggling to put away and like deal with, and clutter takes time, you know.
It does. It takes time to clean and organize, and it can be overwhelming.
It truly can. And so there's a lot of movements toward minimalism being a solution for just making your life simpler and making your cleanup time less, and making, you know, the things that you bring into your home less. So that way you have less to deal with. You don't need to pay for as much storage space. You don't need to pay for as many items. Like it's a consumerist theory in some ways, you know, like you don't have to buy so many things to fill a space. You can be just really intentional about the things that you do buy.
Yeah, really be intentional more so about it than before. Absolutely. And I think too, it depends on where you are in your life. I know like, and you tell me, but like my early 20s, I didn't have anything.
Yeah.
You know,
Me either.
I think I went like 5 years without hardly any furniture in my place.
Yeah.
And now I have too much and I need to get rid of it.
Right.
So I would like to be more minimalist in what I have. What about you?
I am in the same boat, same story. But I think that minimalism in that time period of your life could be embraced to just focus on accentuating what you do have and appreciating what you do have and just designing very thoughtfully around it. And it doesn't mean that you have to go buy expensive individual pieces to put in the minimalist space. Again, minimalism doesn't have to mean expensive or modern even. You can go to the thrift store and find like a couple pieces that you're like, wow, that's really cool. Whether that's like hand thrown pottery or, you know, some picture frames to put photos that really matter to you in the space. Like you can really be intentional about each little piece that you put in a space and still make it minimalist.
Sure.
And make it minimalist.
Yes.
and then it's affordable and you're not over consuming. So in that vein, do you think that minimalism is good for the environment?
That's a good question. It can be if it's done with that in mind.
Yeah.
I mean, because you could be minimalist or have that minimalist approach, but really damage the environment.
Yeah.
With how you're going about it.
Yeah. How you're purchasing.
Sure.
And then like you get all the minimalist stuff and you decide you want to refresh next year. Like that's not good for the environment. But I think if you're following the concept of like just trying to consume only when it's something that's really important to you, not just because you're like, oh, that's cool, you know. I think that is good for the environment and only having what you need and really enjoy.
So I guess it's about what your intention is. Yeah.
That's so true. Because again, if you're looking at it from like, oh, I just want to like keep up with modern styles and I want to go minimalist this year, and the next year you're going to be over it and get rid of the minimalist expensive stuff you bought, that's not typically very good for the environment. But,
No.
But yeah, I think minimalism came out of the need to reduce the amount that people bought. Like initially after the Great Depression, minimalism was popular because people just didn't have a ton, or, you know, kind of during the Great Depression. And so
it was also, you know, to go back to, how do I say this? it was very ornate design before.
Yeah.
And so it was the opposite of that. It was a movement to get away from that. Ornate. And then, it is what it is today.
I feel like that just keeps happening throughout history. Like the pendulum swing of like, we're just going to fill the space with tchotchkes and Tuscan style. And then now we're going millennial gray, you know, because we can't handle the sponge painting of the early 2000s. And then, the 1920s were like, richness and luxury. And then the 30s were like austere, so, or in 40s. So it's, there's just been a lot of a pendulum swing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. But I also wanted to make the point that you can have a minimalist style within any design style that you have. Like you could have Western minimalism, you could have, there's a lot of different types of minimalism out there. Coastal minimalism.
Yeah. Again, it's just about, if you like those other design styles, then look at your space. So if your space is traditional, typically there's more things in a traditional space, but just don't go overboard with the things in your space, but you can still lean traditional or you can lean contemporary or cottage. That is a lot of stuff.
That's what tripped me up. I was going to say cottage and I was like, oh, maybe that
not.
Would be harder. You could, but it would just, it would take some time to just be very intentional.
And just not a lot of clutter. I think it's just clearing the clutter and, instead of 5 picture frames on a shelf, maybe it's 1. So within any design style that you love, just, go through and just pare it back, edit it. It's kind of like when you put your outfit on, you're putting on your jewelry, your belt, your shoes. Look at yourself in the mirror, remove 1 item, not your clothing item, but unless it could be a jacket. If you have a jacket with a, shirt with a sweater, maybe take the sweater off. Yeah. So it just
usually like you put all the jewelry you want on and you take off 1 or 2 pieces. So it's like you pare it back, I feel like that's a Coco Chanel thing.
It is.
I always say that to the lady that we work with for props on shoots. I'll be like, Coco Chanel this room, all right?
Yeah.
And she knows what I mean because it's like put all the props that we could want in there that would go with this room and then we're going to pare it back.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to edit it.
Yeah.
And you can always do that before you buy too.
Sure.
You can put it in like a Canva workspace or something like that, where all the pieces that you think you'd like in the space are together on the page and then you can pare back digitally.
You can. Sometimes though, it is nice to see it in person.
That's true. If you already have it particularly.
Yeah, if you already have it. But a lot of us are already living in our spaces with our things. Yeah. So, if you're trying to go more minimalist or more thoughtful approach, just start pulling things out, have a yard sale, donate it. Somebody else may want your things. Yeah. May need your things.
That's a very environmentally friendly thing to do as well. Making sure that you're rehoming the things that you don't want through, donating it or having a garage sale or something, because then the people buying it are getting a deal and they're getting something new without having to buy something brand newly made, and there's less going in the landfill. So,
that's true.
Yeah. So that part of it's good. But I feel like a lot of the designs we end up putting together with our furniture in photography, speaking of which, is a good mix of warmth and minimalism together. And that's really the goal of the conversation, is we want to show you how to bring warmth and minimalism into a space together, because it doesn't necessarily have to be cold. So
no, it doesn't.
Let's bring up that dining room to look at that we have. The Soul group is here, and it's in a very minimalist environment. Lots of white walls and a white fireplace mantle area, but the furniture itself is really what sings here.
It's very warm. The furniture is very warm. The environment is very, very neutral.
Yeah, it is.
It is a bit cold, but the furniture itself warms up that space quite nicely. And this table, I think it's called the Soul. The wood tone of that is actually, it's really beautiful in person. I feel like this picture washes it out just a bit, but in person it's so warm. And then the leather on the chairs is so pretty. Even the metal is warmed up. And so, you know, if you like this style, which this could go very, that table and chairs and sideboard could go very Western. It could go in other design styles, but it looks really nice, you know, in this very minimalistic approach.
Yeah, I think it's a good example of if you want a minimalist space, but you want it to feel warm a lot of the times, then it will really depend on what furniture you choose and making sure that you're choosing furniture intentionally. And because it's going to stand on its own and really be the thing in the room that warms up the room. Because there's not a ton of art in there, and the art that is in there is pretty neutral. There's a lot of texture to it to go and with
that dining set too. It's very textural.
Oh yeah, the texture in the dining set. There's like a wood inlay that looks like a sunbeam, and all the different pieces of wood are different colors, and so it is very natural. And so it's also a good example of nature playing off minimalism to be the star.
Imagine if you were to take this dining table and the chairs and put it in the Kanye's house, the picture you showed of the dining room. I think it would look just as good in there too.
Yeah. You should do that just for fun and see what it would
can we
look
come
like.
over and
can we just like hang out and put our table and chairs in there?
But the design of their table and chairs that was in that space, I mean, you would look at that and go, that's a minimalistic design. Okay. So we're going to put that in that house, or in that home. But if you were to walk through and you see this dining set, maybe someone would go, oh, that's not minimalist, but it could be if you put it in a space that's minimalist.
Exactly.
So I would say go for what you like, go for the warmth that you're trying to create, and you can still put it in a minimalist
That's very true.
room.
But then you can go a little bit more. Let's look at the next dining set.
Okay.
I feel like we need to look at it, but
that could definitely go in their dining room too.
Yeah.
In Kanye's dining room.
It's a very minimal dining set in the sense that there's a lot of cutouts. And so by nature, there's just not a ton of material.
Well, and the soft shapes are very minimalist in design. This is a great little set. It's not little. It's not huge either.
But it's a dining set that has curves and a lot of character, but is still very minimal. So it's a good example of how to blend warmth and minimalism. It really comes down to, in a lot of these examples, I think, is texture and adding texture in to bring that warmth. And then there's pops of green throughout, adding plants in the room.
Yeah, that definitely helps. That's a pretty minimalist design in the kitchen.
Yeah, it very much is. Yeah. That's a very truly minimalist space. But it's not like cold. The rug it's like a fuzzy rug, even though it's white.
And there's some high and low in the rug. It's not just a flat pile.
Yeah, not a flat pile. Well, let's look at the living room as an example of how to bring color in to a minimalist space.
This is a really good example of minimalist design furniture that's designed that looks minimalist, but then it's warmed up in the space with the bookshelf and then the pieces in the background and the little yellow pillow.
Right. So this is, to me, I agree. And I think it's also a good example of how you can have tchotchkes and art and like decor pieces, but it's very intentionally selected. It's not like the bookshelf is full of things filling up every single square inch. It's like there's one thing in one shelf and two things in another, but they're very intentionally selected. And then it's, you know, bringing color in can still keep it a minimalist space. Not everything has to be neutrals. You can bring in a pop of blue or yellow and still achieve that minimalist look just because of the clean lines and the surrounding design.
I feel like this room it gives off the feel of minimalist, but isn't as pared back as like Kanye's living room.
Right.
This is a very livable minimalist design.
Right. Where I can picture, you know, you see in the background, there's a record player with records on the floor, and that doesn't look out of place. You know, like things can be, you know, you can have cups on the coffee tables, and you can have like things going on in that room without it messing up the overall aesthetic. It's a livable room, but it keeps its neat look because of the way it's set up and how minimalist the design is. It almost like gives you the space to live within it.
You yes, but you could also take some of the pieces out and it would look just as good too.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you want to see what we're talking about, we're on YouTube looking at some Furniture Row examples. But
do you remember the name of that sofa?
The Jasper.
The Jasper. What I love about the Jasper is I liked how low it was. It's not like this overly large sofa.
Yeah.
But the coffee table. I like how it had two purposes. It's a table, but it's also an extra seating space. Did you notice that?
Yeah. And that's the other thing with minimalism is having pieces that can double function, whether it's like they provide storage that you can easily put things in, or they're a coffee table and an ottoman, which requires you to buy less and have less in your space.
Yeah. I thought it looked really good.
Really
it's
cool.
a nice little set.
I know. I agree.
And it's comfortable.
It is.
I sat on it.
I have too. It's like one of our little design stars right now. I love it. Well, yeah, I think this has been like actually a really good conversation. At first, when we were talking about minimalism, I was like, is that going to be boring? You know, but I think
it doesn't have to be.
I think it's what we need right now. We need a little bit of decluttering in our lives and simplicity and making things simplified in the midst of complications. And so it's been good to unpack.
It would be fun to see pictures of before and after, like with Kanye and Kim's house. Like anyone listening, if you want to take the minimalist challenge and send us before and after pictures, I think that'd be fun to see.
That would be cool. There's a lot of them out there too. Like there's all sorts of documentaries and like just books about minimalism. I read one called the No New Things Challenge, and
was that for a year? Like
for a
nothing
month.
new?
Yeah, but it just like gets you thinking about what you currently have and what you could use that you currently have, and it was just a really good exercise for me to be more intentional about what I bring into my house.
So you did the exercise.
I mean, like I don't know that I was super strict about it, but yeah, I did it.
You tried.
I read the book, and that really changed my mind about being open to minimalism or just like anti-over-consumer and being just like really intentional about what I do buy and buying like nicer things, fewer nicer things, which I didn't used to do, instead of more cheaper things. So that's been just a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good challenge.
We would love all your feedback on minimalism, and just comment wherever you're listening to this episode and engage in the conversation. And if you have questions about how to minimalize a space or how to decorate a space to be warm and minimal, we have a pretty responsive social team, so you will get an answer.
For sure. We should pose our own little challenge too.
Oh, like that'd be fun.
The pictures, if they would send us some pictures, but also just really look at your space and clear off one area in your home. Yeah. Just clear it out and then only put back the things that you really are going to use.
Marie Kondo, you know, bring back the things that bring you joy, you know? But I'm sad because this is our last episode of the season. But
don't be sad. We're coming back.
We're coming back mid-October. So look out for some new episodes then that are going to be really great for, you know, design conversations that are happening later in the year and
we're
for the fall.
We're going to keep it going. Keep the conversations going.
Be a little bit more fall, wintry, seasonal. So we might see some changes on our sets too. But in the meantime, just talk to us. We'll be on socials. We'll be in the comments. So we look forward to seeing you soon.
See you later.
See you later.